Enter the dragon.
Hey everyone, and a huge thanks to LitRPG Reads for inspiring today's deep dive, especially to Paul Bello, a fine fellow indeed. Speaking of inspiration, this whole topic got me thinking about a D&D session gone hilariously wrong. Picture this. My brave warrior is facing a fearsome dragon, the fate of the kingdom hanging in the balance. Everything hinges on this one dice roll, natural one. Not only did my attack miss spectacularly, but my sword goes flying, lands in a vat of alchemist fire and explodes, taking out half the party. Needless to say, we didn't save the kingdom that day.
Sounds like someone needs to work on their dice rolling skills.
Yeah.
But hey, those unpredictable moments are what make tabletop RPGs so memorable.
Absolutely. And speaking of memorable, we're diving into an article from LitRPG Reads titled How to Start Tabletop Gaming in 2025, a guide for new players. It's packed with tips and insights, so whether you're a complete newbie or a seasoned dungeon master, we're going to uncover the gems that will help you level up your gaming experience. The first thing that really jumped out at me was this surprising fact. Tabletop gaming is experiencing a massive resurgence in 2025. I mean, who would have thought in the age of hyper-realistic video games that good old-fashioned dice rolling would be making such a comeback?
It's a fascinating trend, isn't it? The article points to a few key factors driving this tabletop renaissance. For one, game designers are pushing the boundaries of creativity. We're seeing innovative games like Gloomhaven, with its legacy system where your choices permanently affect the game world, creating a unique and evolving narrative. Then there's Root, a game of woodland might and right, where each player controls an asymmetrical faction with completely different abilities and strategies. It's like playing multiple games in one. These games aren't just about rolling dice, they're about making meaningful decisions and experiencing truly emergent gameplay.
It's like those games are evolving right alongside us, keeping things fresh and exciting. And let's not forget the influence of streaming communities like Critical Role. They've introduced a whole new generation to the magic of tabletop RPGs, showing just how captivating collaborative storytelling can be.
Absolutely. And then there's the rise of what the article calls digital physical hybrids. Now, for anyone scratching their heads, imagine an app that acts as your dungeon master, controlling the monsters, setting the mood with music, and even guiding you through the story. That's what these hybrid games are all about, seamlessly blending technology with the tactile joy of rolling dice and moving pieces across a board. It's like having the best of both worlds. Descent, for example, has an app that adds a whole new dimension to the gameplay, creating a more immersive and dynamic experience.
Okay, so we've established that tabletop gaming is having a serious moment. But with so many amazing options out there, how do you even begin to choose the right game?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The article emphasizes that picking the right game to start with is crucial. It's like choosing your character class before embarking on an epic quest. You need to consider your playstyle, your interests, and even the people you'll be playing with. Are you drawn to sprawling fantasy worlds with intricate lore? Or do you prefer the cutthroat world of strategic empire building? Do you enjoy working together as a team towards a common goal? Or are you more competitive, relishing the thrill of outsmarting your opponents? And of course, there's the question of complexity. Are you ready to dive into a rule-heavy RPG with character sheets and multi-sided dice? Or are you looking for something more streamlined that you can pick up and play in an afternoon?
Yeah, there's a whole spectrum of complexity in tabletop games.
Yeah.
I remember trying to teach a friend a particularly intricate board game once, and their eyes just glazed over. It's important to find that sweet spot where the game is engaging and challenging without being overwhelming.
Exactly. And that's where the concept of gateway games comes in. These are games that are designed to be easy to learn and fun to play, even for people who are completely new to tabletop gaming. Think of them as the training wheels for your tabletop journey. They offer a taste of what the hobby has to offer without bogging you down in complex rules or requiring hours of setup. You can always delve into the more complex stuff later, once you've gotten your feet wet.
Right. Those gateway games are like the appetizer before the main course, a way to whet your appetite for more. But let's not forget, the people you play with are just as important as the game itself. Building a solid gaming group can make all the difference between a night of frustration and a night of epic storytelling and laughter.
You hit the nail on the head. The article dives into this aspect as well, offering some great tips for assembling your fellowship of adventurers, so to speak. Starting with friends is always a good option. But even then, it's crucial to be mindful of everyone's preferences. You don't want to spring a 4-hour strategy game on someone who just wants to relax with a light card game. Open communication and a willingness to compromise are key.
Oh, absolutely. I learned that lesson the hard way once. I was so excited to try this new, complex Euro game with my friends. But it turned out they were more in the mood for something silly and lighthearted. We ended up playing a party game instead. And you know what? We had a blast. Sometimes the best gaming experiences are the ones you least expect.
That's so true. And it highlights the beauty of tabletop gaming. It's adaptable and can cater to a wide range of moods and preferences. The article also suggests exploring local gaming shops, libraries, and events as great ways to meet like-minded players.
I love that idea. There's something special about connecting with people in person. Sharing that tangible experience of rolling dice and moving pieces across a board. It's like a shared ritual that brings people together.
And if you're looking to cast a wider net, there's always the option of joining online communities. The internet has opened up a whole new world of possibilities for tabletop gaming, allowing you to connect with players from all over the globe who share your specific interests, whether it's a niche RPG system or a love for obscure board games.
It's like the internet has become this massive virtual tabletop, connecting people across continents through their shared passion for gaming. Speaking of connecting, let's address the elephant in the room, the cost. Tabletop gaming can seem like a pricey hobby, especially when you see those deluxe game editions with all the bells and whistles.
It's a common misconception that you need to spend a fortune to enjoy tabletop gaming. And the article does a great job of debunking it. It's all about being resourceful and knowing where to look. Borrowing games from friends or libraries is a fantastic way to try before you buy. It's like having a free trial period before committing to a subscription. Board game cafes are also a great option, offering a social environment and a wide selection of games for a small fee.
I love board game cafes. It's like a library, but for games.
Yeah.
And with the snacks. Plus, you meet so many interesting people and discover games you might never have tried otherwise.
Exactly. And for those who are truly budget conscious and embrace a bit of DIY, there's the world of print and play games. You can download and print the game components yourself, often for a fraction of the cost of a retail game.
I've actually tried the print and play method for a few games.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly fun. There's a real sense of satisfaction in creating your own game components. Plus, it's a great way to test out a game before investing in a physical copy.
It's a fantastic option, especially for those who are just starting out and want to dip their toes into the hobby without breaking the bank. But what about those who are ready to level up their gaming experience, both literally and figuratively?
Yeah, I'm always curious about those deluxe game editions and all the cool accessories people use to enhance their games. I mean, who doesn't love a set of personalized dice or a custom-painted miniature?
The article delves into this aspect as well, suggesting some fun ways to upgrade your gaming experience. Deluxe game editions often feature high-quality components, like wooden tokens, metal coins, or even custom sculpted miniatures.
I have to admit, I have a weakness for deluxe game editions. There's just something so satisfying about those high-quality components. It's like the difference between reading a book on your e-reader and holding a beautifully bound hardcover edition.
Exactly. And then there's the world of personalized accessories. Imagine rolling dice that perfectly match your character's personality, or having a miniature that looks exactly like your in-game avatar. It's a fantastic way to add a personal touch to your gaming experience and really immerse yourself in the game world.
It's like taking ownership of the game, making it your own. And speaking of making it your own, some people even go all out and create dedicated gaming spaces in their homes.
It's amazing what some people do. Imagine having a room designed specifically for tabletop gaming, with custom table storage for your game collection, and maybe even themed decorations.
That's the dream. It's like having your own personal tavern or guild hall, where you can gather with your friends and embark on epic adventures. But for most people, starting with a nice dice tray and organizer is probably a more realistic first step.
Absolutely. It's all about finding what works for you and your budget. The key is to remember that the most important ingredient in any tabletop gaming experience is the people you're playing with and the shared joy of creating stories together.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But, beyond the games themselves, what truly captivates me is the incredible sense of community that surrounds tabletop gaming.
It's a global phenomenon. The article really emphasizes that this is about more than just playing games. It's about connecting with people who share your passions, learning from each other, and even inspiring each other.
It's like we're all part of this grand, collaborative storytelling project, where everyone has a role to play, from the dungeon master who sets the scene to the players who bring the characters to life.
And it's a project that's constantly evolving, growing, and becoming more inclusive and diverse, which is incredibly exciting. Conventions, local game stores, online forums, these are all vibrant hubs where people can come together to celebrate their love of tabletop gaming.
Speaking of contributing to the community, the article encourages readers to think beyond just playing games and consider how they might give back. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a wonderful sentiment, isn't it? It's about fostering a sense of shared ownership and passion for this incredible hobby.
So how can we as players help shape the future of tabletop gaming?
There are so many ways to get involved. Hosting game nights for friends or newcomers is a fantastic way to spread the joy of gaming and introduce people to this world. Sharing reviews of games online can help others make informed choices. And for those who are feeling truly ambitious, why not consider designing your own game?
Wow, designing your own game, that's next level dedication. It's like becoming the architect of your own unique world, crafting the rules, the stories, and the characters that will inhabit it.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe your game will be the next Gloomhaven or Catan, inspiring countless others to join this amazing community. But even if you never design your own game, there are countless ways to contribute to the tabletop gaming ecosystem simply by being an active and engaged member of the community.
Well said. You know, as we delve deeper into this article, I'm realizing there's so much more to tabletop gaming than meets the eye. It's a world of creativity, strategy, storytelling, and most importantly, community. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've only just scratched the surface of this treasure trove of information.
Indeed, there's still so much to uncover. From practical tips on leveling up your gaming skills to exploring different ways to keep the hobby fresh and exciting. So buckle up, listeners, because our deep dive into the world of tabletop gaming is just getting started. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of tabletop gaming. Before we went on our little side quest, we were talking about all the ways you can contribute to the gaming community.
Right, like becoming a game designer or sharing reviews. But what about leveling up our own skills as players? That's something I'm always striving for. What kind of skills should we be focusing on?
Well, it really depends on what kind of games you enjoy. If you're drawn to strategy games like chess or, say, the aforementioned Root, it's all about honing your tactical thinking, learning to anticipate your opponent's moves, managing resources effectively, and adapting your strategy on the fly. These are all skills that can elevate your game to a whole new level.
So it's kind of like becoming a master tactician, planning your campaigns with chess-like precision. Except in Root, you might be playing as a band of adorable woodland critters vying for control of the forest.
Precisely. And if you're more drawn to role-playing games, the skills you'll want to develop are quite different. It's all about storytelling, character development, and improvisation. Imagine crafting a compelling backstory for your character, complete with motivations, flaws, and secrets. Or picture yourself weaving intricate narratives that keep your fellow players on the edge of their seats, reacting to their choices and building a story together.
It's like becoming a master storyteller, collaborating with your fellow players to create a living, breathing narrative. You're not just playing a game, you're co-creating an experience. I've had some amazing RPG sessions where we were all so engrossed in the story that it felt like we were actually living it.
That's the magic of tabletop RPGs, isn't it? It's about tapping into that shared sense of wonder and imagination. And as the article points out, even learning the fundamentals of game design can enhance your understanding and appreciation of the hobby. By studying the mechanics of your favorite games, experimenting with prototypes, and even just brainstorming creative ideas, you can gain a whole new perspective on how games are made and how they can be enjoyed.
I never thought about it that way. But it makes total sense. The more you understand the underlying mechanics of a game, the more strategic you can be in your approach and the more fun you'll have. It's like learning the secrets behind a magic trick.
Exactly. And the best part is that there are countless resources available to help you level up your gaming skills, whatever your area of interest. Online tutorials, playthrough videos, strategy guides, community forums, the knowledge is out there for the taking.
It's like having a whole guild of experienced adventurers ready to share their wisdom and guide you on your journey. But, sometimes the best way to learn is to teach. I've found that whenever I try to explain the rules of a game to someone new, I end up solidifying my own understanding of the game in the process.
Absolutely. Teaching is a fantastic way to reinforce your knowledge and develop your communication skills. It also forces you to think about the game from a different perspective, which can lead to new insights and strategies. Plus, it's incredibly rewarding to introduce someone to a hobby you love and watch them discover the joy of tabletop gaming.
Okay, so we've talked about how to choose the right game, how to assemble your gaming group, and how to level up your skills as a player. But what about keeping the hobby fresh and exciting? Even the most epic quest can get a little stale if you're doing the same thing over and over again.
That's where creativity and a willingness to experiment come in. The article suggests some fantastic ways to keep your game nights feeling new and exciting. One idea that really resonated with me was embracing seasonal themes. Imagine playing a spooky horror game around Halloween. or a cozy winter-themed game during the holidays. You could even adapt existing games to fit different themes, which can spark a whole new level of creativity and immersion.
Wow. I hadn't thought about seasonal things before. I bet playing a spooky game on Halloween would be a blast.
Yeah.
You could even decorate your gaming space and have themed snacks. It would be like stepping into a whole new world.
Exactly. It's all about creating a memorable experience.
Yeah.
And then there's the thrill of the hunt for limited edition games or rare expansions. It's like finding a hidden treasure chest filled with new adventures and possibilities.
Oh, I totally get that. There's something about those limited edition games that makes them feel extra special. It's like owning a piece of gaming history. And you know what else I think helps keep things fresh? Rotating hosts for game nights. Each person brings their own unique style and energy to the table, which can really shake things up.
That's a fantastic tip. It not only keeps things interesting, but also gives everyone a chance to step into the role of game master or facilitator. It's a great way to share the responsibility and ensure everyone feels valued and involved. Speaking of feeling valued, we've talked a lot about the individual aspects of tabletop gaming, but let's circle back to that incredible sense of community that we touched on earlier.
Yeah, the article really painted a vivid picture of this global network of players, designers, and enthusiasts, all connected by their shared passion for these games. It's like we're all part of this grand collaborative storytelling project, writing the next chapter in the history of tabletop gaming.
Exactly. It's a community where everyone has something to contribute. Whether you're a seasoned dungeon master or a brand new player.
And as the hobby continues to grow and evolve, it's becoming more inclusive and diverse. It's inspiring to see so many people from all walks of life coming together to share their love of tabletop gaming. It truly is a global phenomenon.
And it's a phenomenon that shows no signs of slowing down. As we move further into the digital age, it's heartening to see that people are still craving those face-to-face interactions, the tangible joy of rolling dice and sharing stories together.
It's like tabletop gaming offers a much-needed antidote to the digital overload we experience in our daily lives. It's a chance to unplug, connect with others, and tap into our creativity and imagination.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's what makes this hobby so enduring and so appealing to people of all ages and backgrounds. It taps into this primal human need for connection, for creativity, and for escaping the everyday world for a little while. But as much as I love waxing poetic about the beauty of tabletop gaming, I think it's time we bring this deep dive to a close.
Agreed. We've covered a lot of ground today, from choosing the right game to building a community and even designing your own games.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about how tabletop gaming can be a much-needed escape from the digital world. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with information and stimulation, there's something incredibly grounding about sitting down with friends or family and engaging in an activity that requires our full attention and presence.
It really is it really does feel like an antidote sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. Like you can just kind of shut off everything else and just be present in the moment with the people you're with and the game you're playing.
Yeah. And, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of tabletop gaming, I'm struck by how much this hobby has to offer. It's more than just rolling dice and moving pieces around a board.
It really is. We've talked about strategy, storytelling, creativity, community. It's like tabletop gaming is this incredible tapestry woven from all these different threads.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think the article we've been discussing, How to Start Tabletop Gaming in 2025, a guide for new players, does a fantastic job of showcasing that diversity. There's literally a game for everyone, no matter your interests or experience level.
Absolutely. Whether you're drawn to the epic battles of fantasy RPGs, the intricate resource management of Euro games, or the quirky humor of party games, there's a whole world of tabletop adventures waiting to be discovered.
It's like there's this vast library of games out there, each one offering a unique experience and a chance to explore different worlds and possibilities.
And what's so exciting is that this library is constantly expanding, with new games being released all the time. It's a hobby that never gets stale because there's always something new to try.
And even within a single game, there's so much room for creativity and personalization. Whether you're crafting a unique character backstory for an RPG, developing a cunning strategy for board game, or even just adding your own house rules to spice things up, tabletop gaming is all about making the experience your own.
It's like each game is a blank canvas, and the players are the artists, bringing their own unique perspectives and ideas to the table.
And that brings us back to the heart of tabletop gaming, the shared experience. It's about gathering with friends, family, or even complete strangers, and creating something special together. It's about laughter, camaraderie, and the joy of shared storytelling.
It's about forging connections that extend beyond the game itself. It's about building memories that will last a lifetime.
So to all our listeners out there who are curious about tabletop gaming, or maybe even a little intimidated by it, I urge you, take the plunge. Don't be afraid to try something new. You might just surprise yourself with how much you enjoy it.
You never know. You might discover a hidden passion, a new group of friends, or even a whole new way of looking at the world.
And remember, the tabletop gaming community is incredibly welcoming and supportive. There are countless resources available to help you get started, from online forums to local game stores to conventions.
Don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help or advice. There's a whole community of gamers out there who are eager to share their love of the hobby and welcome you into the fold.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, I want to leave you with one final thought. In a world that often feels increasingly divided and disconnected, tabletop gaming offers a powerful antidote. It's a reminder that we're all connected, that we all have stories to tell, and that we're all capable of creating something beautiful together.
Beautifully said. And a huge thank you once again to LitRPG Reads, and especially to Paul Bello, that fine fellow, for inspiring this exploration into the world of tabletop gaming.
Until next time, happy gaming, everyone.